Charles Koch is very much concerned with our justice system, and he wants to spend a considerable amount of time and money in reforming it in 2015.
Oh, thanks, Scott.
Now, if this sounds crazy to you, it's actually not that crazy. First of all, he had an experience with the justice system that he didn't like. So once he had to step out of his comfortable little bubble, he realized, oh, there's something broken here. Maybe I should do something to fix it. Secondly, he is considered a libertarian, and libertarians are very much concerned with fixing our criminal justice system. So he had this interview with the Wichita Eagle, and here's what he said. First of all, he reflected on his own experiences. Back in 2000, he was facing 97 counts of environmental crimes. Okay?
Oh, Jesus.
97. So in the end, Koch Petroleum actually settled. All charges were dropped except for one of them. He didn't like how the process worked, and he realized, hey, you know what? If I have all these resources and I'm able to get out of this situation, what about the little guy? Because that's really what the Koch brothers are concerned about, the little guys, right? According to Koch's chief counsel, Mark Holden, the case made the billionaire industrial wonder how the little guy who doesn't have Koch's resources deals with prosecutions like that.
Well, I would put out there the idea that perhaps the little guy is not in a position to do 97 counts of environmental crimes. Okay. So now you might be surprised that this guy's out for justice, right?
That's amazing.
So, no, not quite Steven Seagal, but he's not worried about the little guy.
No.
Now, look, there's a good part of this. As Anna pointed out, some libertarians are really on the right side of justice reform, right? And Rand Paul's actually said some very good things about this. The system needs to be reformed when it comes to the war on drugs, for example. We're imprisoning all these people. It's unnecessary. And Charles Koch has done some good by donating money to lawyers. And you think, well, lawyers, they're more Democrats. So why would a Republican do that, et cetera? So I'm not saying there isn't good in what he's doing. There is, right? Having said that, think about why he's doing it.
Yeah, he's not doing it for the little guy. There's no way. And look, for everyone who's like, you're being too hard on him. I mean, think about every political donation the Koch brothers have ever made. It's always been to benefit them. It hasn't been to benefit anyone else. If they really cared about the little guy, they wouldn't be destroying the environment. So people are inhaling pollution on a regular basis.
So Brand New Films did a great story about how there's this place in Arkansas where, right next to their plants, where they have extraordinary rate of cancer for the families that live next to the river where some of those pollutants might be going, right? So, I mean, it's not an accident. It's not like the feds have been really tough on corporations, right? So they did the 97 counts. If they did 97 counts, there was a lot more than that, right? And the settlement was because they said, yeah, okay, you got us. Here's a tremendous amount of money we're giving to settle that case, right? So, and they knock it down to one. It's just a matter of semantics. That's guilty. That's why they're paying the settlement. That's why they're found, guilty on those charges. So, on that charge. So, the frame that a lot of people are missing is they think, well, here is a wealthy person who is looking out for people who have been charged in crimes, maybe unjustly so. No, the thing is, he comes at it from a perspective of the criminal. And he thinks, I want to have as many rights as I possibly can because I'm the one being charged with crimes because sometimes I commit crimes. Right? So one of the things that they're not telling you about is a story that we covered in the past with the Koch brothers where they used to skim some of the oil off of Native American land. They would rig how they measured the oil on purpose, right? And that is actually money that was supposed to go to the American government, right? So they're not only stealing from Native Americans, they were stealing from the American government. So these guys have been doing this for a long, long time. So yes, it might help some people who are unjustly accused.
Yeah.
But it also helps people who were justly accused.
Absolutely.
Should have been accused in the first place. And so yes, as Anna pointed out, all the things that go to their benefit, the tax cuts, fighting the unions so they pay less to their workers, making sure that they're not regulated so they can pollute more. And if they get busted on their pollution, making sure that the justice system helps them get out of it.
Right, absolutely. But, just to go to the other side of this argument, he could achieve some really, really important things. So one thing that he's focusing on is mandatory minimums. He wants to do away with that, okay? He wants to do away with harsh sentences for nonviolent drug offenders. These are all things that we're in favor of as well. So, and also, you know, going back to what Cenk said about giving money to attorneys, he has funded the National Association of Criminal Defense Lawyers for a really long time, since 2004, okay? And, you know...
Remember, the 97 counts were in 2000. So after he gets charged with all that, all of a sudden he's got an interest in defense attorneys.
That's
so,
true.
No, and Anna, I'm not denying any of that. And understand the other donations that the Koch brothers have given. David Koch gave a lot of money for cancer research. He happened to have cancer, right? So once again, it's to his benefit, but it doesn't mean that the money that he gave is a bad thing. No, it's a great thing, right? And he gave money to the arts. He loves opera and ballet, and he gave it to the Lincoln Center, where he gets to watch opera and ballet. And all his buddies who go to those things then applaud him. Yes, to his benefit, but not a bad thing, right? They give $25 million to the United Negro College Fund. Why did they do that? Because again, Brave New Films did a series of movies where they showed all the terrible things that the Koch brothers have done to black people, right? So now they would say that it was a coincidence, that just that black people happen to be poor and they don't give a shit about the poor. Okay, they're libertarians and it's all to me, none to you. But they felt bad about it, or they wanted to do PR, et cetera, so they gave $25 million. That's good, not bad, right? So understand the world is not black and white, right? So just because they give the money doesn't mean the money's bad or that they shouldn't have given to those good causes, right? And just because they give the money doesn't mean that they're good guys. A lot of that is ill-gotten gains in the first place. It's the oldest trick in the book. You steal a ton of money, and then you give out a little bit, like the mob used to throw out coins during the festivals from their floats. So then everybody would be like, oh, wow, Don Corleone gave me a quarter. It was easier because he shook down your dad and made a lot of money by shaking him down, but, you know, for his restaurant or his store, et cetera. Now, I'm not saying the Koch brothers are the mob or anything like that, and I'm not saying all the money they made was stolen or anything. I'm saying there were specific charges against them, which you should look into. Brave New Films have, we have. You can check out our videos about that. And so, of course they're looking out for themselves. That's the core of the libertarian philosophy anyway. They also happen to be doing some good in the process. They also do a lot of bad in the process by making sure that the average person gets paid less, that the tax burden gets shifted onto you instead of them, which gives them the billions of dollars from which they can give small donations.